Hello and welcome to Focus Point, a New Zealand ethnic communities TV channel. Today we have Mr. Ashraf Choudhary with us. He served as a member of a parliament in New Zealand. He also been working with the Muslim and other ethnic communities in New Zealand. He's been involved with student development programs also. He helped so many ethnic and migrant students who actually been working and developing themselves with their families in New Zealand. So today we're going to discuss with him how these ethnic communities are developing with this COVID situation and what kind of challenges they are going through. We will also discuss about when the New Zealand is going to open up and how he sees future of New Zealand with ethnic communities. Actually, people are discussing about changes, developments. So this is for the Muslim community in Europe. They want to see all the changes going on. And the funny thing is, few days ago, we were just talking about New Zealand and Australia. Yes. And then I thought about you. I was like, oh, yeah, I know somebody there. Like I met you 10 years ago. I'm still here. and then I did some research on you, and I was like, oh, he's still there. Yeah.
I'm still there. Yeah, I'm now. Actually, as we say in New Zealand, I sort of come home. And I'm now local councillor at Auckland City Council.
Okay.
Which is really, I don't have to go to Wellington every week. So right. I'm here now and doing some, thing for the community and locally engaged, if you like.
Yeah. So, we were just wondering what's going on there. Like it's New Zealand's like way out there. And I think right now it's like lockdown going on again or.
Well, we're under lockdown level 4. Mm-hmm. Which basically mean that apart from food and necessary stuff, everything is closed.
Wow.
So it's pretty hard at the moment. We went through it early last year in March.
Okay.
And then of course, the whole year has been pretty good. We're the luckiest country where we didn't have any case for a long time. And now we had one case came from Australia. Mm-hmm. And because we had opened the borders with Australia, and that has created all this problem. The whole country right now is what we call level 4, the highest level of basically closing everything down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you reckon New Zealand will open up, because European countries are pretty much open now?
Well, basically what the government, the Prime Minister announced, she comes out almost every day and tells us what's happening. So what they've decided, next Tuesday, coming Tuesday, they're going to, that's current plan, they're going to get the rest of the country, apart from Auckland, wider Auckland region, the rest of the country going to go to level 3, which means some of the businesses are open, but with the mask on and with the, what we call social distance, 2 meters and those kind of things. So some of the business, most of them can open, but under very strict conditions. So that will happen on Tuesday. And then the indication right now is for Auckland region, wider Auckland region, they will likely to be going to another 2 weeks of lockdown. But that decision will be made on Monday. And so, still up in the air how we're going to go, because still getting the other day or yesterday was about 70 new cases in Auckland.
Sure.
So we'll know in about very shortly how many cases we got over the last 24 hours.
How do you think this COVID situation is affecting Muslim community, especially the young Muslims in New Zealand?
Well, look, generally speaking, we are no different. Everybody's in the same situation. Really, the COVID doesn't differentiate between Muslims and non-Muslims. And the only thing, of course, is the major thing, like all the other religions, it's affecting Friday prayers as a main thing.
Right.
And the government has been pretty strong, and I agree with that, under level 4, basically, we can't really gather together. Even weddings and, funerals are limited to 10 people, and that's only in extreme situations, but basically very limited movement. So the main thing that's affected is really Friday prayers, and any other congregation, like we had whether people want to have a social gathering, a religious gathering, that's all gone to Zoom, if you like, and Skype. And it's interesting how Zoom has really, blown up, and Skype, like, for example, a lot of my meetings on Skype with my council whenever we do it. And so these are different tools coming up now, like Zoom, which is fantastic. But the thing is, whether it's Muslim community or non-Muslim community, is no difference really. Sure. So people are doing those who can do these things online, but the difficulty is for those people who are actually out in the field, doing trade job. Those who can't really do things online. I know a lot of building, one of the biggest thing what's happening was the building boom in New Zealand. So, to build a house, for example, or anything to build, it takes you probably 15 or 20 different people with 15 to 20 different trades actually build something, So that has stopped. And it'll hopefully open up when we go down to level 3 and 2. That will happen. Wow. But essentially, Muslim communities, in my view, they're no different than the others.
Right. Is there any effect on young people, like who are like in the high schools or colleges?
Well, that certainly is, I think, impacting. I can see within my own family with kids and all that. Of course, there's no schools open, no childcare centers open. All those people at home, and they're creating a problem for parents. My own family have issues. My grandchildren who are, one is 2, one is 3, and the parents, my son and daughter-in-law, they're both lawyers, so they are working from home. But how are you going to work with 2 little kiddies? Right. So they do a lot of demand, and so it's become very difficult. So again, I don't see it any different than the everybody else. Sure. Really, it's nothing specific about a Muslim community.
I think the biggest challenge in this area, Europe and US and UK, was most of the communities, they had relatives in other countries. Yes. And it was quite normal for them to see each other during holidays. And some of them
of course.
applied visas, some of them were coming, some are on their way, someone had their tickets, and everything is just simply changed. Was there an effect in New Zealand? Because New Zealand...
Yes, definitely. So that's a major impact here. And that's why I say it's not just the Muslims, really. It's everybody. And people like me in politics, we are at the receiving end, if you like. So many issues have come up. And actually, a lot of people now are so much complain because there are a lot of issues with family reunion. People cannot get spouses. Some of the family divided some children overseas and parents here and vice versa. So there are a lot of those issues. And in fact, there's a strong movement now among the ethnic communities, including Muslim community. And they are now written letters to the Prime Minister and to the ministers to resolve some of those issues, because it's becoming really difficult. And as I said, it's becoming personal for a lot of people. My own son is in Australia, in further away in the western part of Australia, and I haven't been able to see them. And, I've got 2 little kiddies over there too, and I really can't, travel. We had opened up for a little while, but now it's all closed again. So New Zealand, and of course, we have been very strict on these things. That's why, alhamdulillah, we have been okay. For the last 12 months, there have been no problems. And we start opening up to Australia and to some of the islands. And but now, of course, they have the issues, and now we can't travel. So all that travel is stopped. And I think I'm finding that people are having some kind of mental issues. Particularly, you can't go and see families overseas, with the parents and grandparents. People cannot move. So that is the issue again across the board. With the wider Indian ethnic communities, Muslim communities. So we are having that issue now. So I'm getting a lot of people really upset. As I said, personally, I know families who cannot bring their spouses. Some of them married through, the cultural marriage, as we call it. And now they can't bring their spouses. So it's making major impact over the last 2 years, particularly since, people, who got spouses to come here, they haven't been able to come.
So hopefully this COVID situation is going to be over. As we see some of the European countries start working with the COVID, they start going around it because they realize it's not choice. And now actually what they're doing, they're actually improving business and job opportunities. So they just realize, hey, we have to work with it. So hopefully, I think this time is going to be behind us. So what actually you think right now there are opportunities for Muslims to move to New Zealand? Do you think there are any opportunities for
Well, right now, I would say it's almost nil because we are very strict on the border, okay? And this is what I was saying, the family reunion and even the international students who are stuck overseas, they cannot come. So we have taken this up, policy decision of elimination. Now, this is very different from what Europe and Americans have done and others have done. Our policy right from the day one has been elimination strategy. And we did it. We eliminated, we had only about 25 deaths in New Zealand. And then, it's been pretty good, no issue. And we are still following that. Right now, as government is being asked for those things, well, are we going to follow Europeans and others? Are we going to, say, well, look, this is now a parcel of way of life. So what the government has said, well, look, we're going to look at once we reach 70-80% vaccination, then we're going to decide what we're going to do to allow people come in and open the borders, if you like, because at the moment, because our policy is strictly elimination, I know some of the countries are not very happy with that. Our neighbor Australians are saying, oh, we can't do that. But at the moment, as of now, the policy is of elimination. And we are working again, let's hope. But what the Prime Minister said the other day was essentially we're going to look at the roadmap at the end of next month. So end of September, we'll be looking at the roadmap, how we're going to proceed toward, particularly around, Christmas, New Year time, whether we're going to, have that, sort of open the borders when there are certain conditions. Are we going to do, for example, allow people with the, double vaccination, they've done it. Those kind of things will be decided by the end of September. So they will then show the roadmap what's going to do. At the moment, strictly elimination policy.
Right. Here, if you're traveling from Turkey or you're traveling from Australia to US or UK, all you need is your vaccination. And if you're fully vaccinated, you can actually travel. So it's no problem at all. So
no, we can't do that at the moment. We're not allowing. The only thing we are allowing right now is New Zealanders who are either citizen or permanent resident. They are allowed to come in with quarantine. So you have to have 2 weeks quarantine, and only those people are. And of course, some special situations they do. For example, some sports team have arrived here, and they have to quarantine 2 weeks, and only then they can be allowed in. So that's the current thing. And I also agree that I think we need to try to, for a little more, for a little longer, to have the elimination policy and then see how things are. Because we are lucky, we are a small island, and we can control the border, in some way. And Europe is harder. I can see that. And Asia is harder because people cross the borders, and it's harder there.
Asia is still shut down. Southeast Asia is completely shut down. I mean, Singapore and Malaysia, all these countries are shut down. China is still shut down. Hong Kong. Korea, Japan. So
and they have done well too. Overall, they have done as well pretty good.
All right, so let's walk a little bit further. So hopefully, once the COVID is behind us, things will go back to normal. Hopefully, what do you think the New Zealand's direction? Like, do you think it's still going to be a great place for young people from Muslim communities to come to New Zealand, get their university degrees, get job opportunities?
They're still there. We are really at the moment, we are short of skilled people. We are short of, particularly in industry like agriculture, industry like, building. There's a building boom going on. Of course, we always short of farm workers, particularly in the seasonal workers, and we need those people. But we need skilled people here, and the builders, the electricians, the plumbers, doctors and nurses are already always short there. So that's happening. By the way, just news came up on my screen saying the 82 new cases as of today. New cases 82 come up over the last 24 hours. So unfortunately, still numbers going up. Yeah. But anyway, for students and all that, obviously, in my view, and I've been a professor for a long time at Massey University here. Yeah. I know this is one of the best places to study. And I have helped a lot of students, particularly the Asian countries, Muslim students, Pakistanis and others, to come and study here. Malaysians have come. And so I think this is one of the best place that I think for students to come and study in a peaceful, lovely place to come. Whether you do it at school level, university level, postgraduate level, it's fantastic to do those kind of things here. Sure. And opportunities are there.
I met quite a few people here. I mean, they would just love to go to New Zealand. And yes. I met some students, they told me that they were actually planning to go to New Zealand for a year from Austria and from Germany.
Yeah.
And
we do get a lot of European students coming here, and they do, traveling around, and of course they study and travel. So we get a lot of those what we call overseas experience type people.
Tell me a little bit about you, right? What exactly are you doing right now? How busy you are with the Muslim community and other communities in New Zealand?
Well, look, I'm not actually. It's what I'm doing is pretty much part-time now, and really at my age now, I'm not looking for. I want to do a busy job, but the beauty of what I'm doing as a local sort of councillor in the local board area is I'm now more engaged with the local communities, whether it's a Muslim community, Indian communities, or wider ethnic, or whoever. So I'm really pleased that I'm doing that, and I can help, local issues. Previously, obviously, I was a member of parliament pretty much for the whole country because I was the first ethnic, the first Muslim, in New Zealand MP, and I had to go travel around all the time. Now I don't need to travel around the country. I do when I have to, I want to, I choose. But I'm very happy doing things locally where I can help with issues with the parks, with issues on transport. But even today somebody came to see me and said, "Oh, we were so and so park. I want a walking track around that park because during COVID, and people want to walk, and there's no the beautiful grounds, but there's no walking path around it. So I'm helping with those kind of things which I can do. Either I can help directly through the local council, or I can get the transport people or parks people to help with those issues when community are facing, and help improve their life, and also particularly look after, help with some of the seniors, who are, oftentimes, as you know, a lot of these migrants bring their parents. Some of the people who are getting old here, they sometimes they can't speak English. Other time they have difficulty, mobility issues, and their children are busy, and so we have now places where they can gather, either organized by the councils or community themselves organized. For seniors, go and sit down, have a cup of tea, and have a yarn, or watch some international TVs, and have general what we call gossip, gossip, and enjoy themselves. And I see that what we used to call it positive aging.
Right.
So I want those people over, retired people to have that, quality of life. And I really am pushing for that. And same thing, doing more things for women's groups and also youth. And luckily, with the local council, local area, we have some funds which we are able to distribute through my local board. We are board of governors, if you love, 7 people. I'm one of the 7. So we make the decisions, which group should be funded and, what we can do in terms of their religious occasions, for example, Eid, Diwali, Christmas, whatever. So we can help them with those. And we go and enjoy with them as well. And that's the kind of thing that I'm really enjoying myself.
Yeah, I think that's a great way and very positive way also, when you guys are sitting down discussing different faiths, different rituals from different cultures, and celebrating.
And we do a lot of interfaith dialogue as well, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's
the interfaith dialogue. I'm part of the Auckland Christian Muslim we call association, which I've been a member of a long time. So it's Auckland's Christian Muslim Council, and I've been patron of that. And of course, I'm also patron with some of the other, Indian groups as well. So the part is to, we can find some ways to educate these people, help these people, and that's all towards having a peaceful coexistence with all the other communities, and also positive aging.
Yeah, I mean, like I traveled to Southeast Asia a lot before the court, and actually the biggest challenge we see, it's just a mindset right now. All the technologies, all the education, everything is actually there. It's pretty much equal. Only thing is, some people probably are thinking more like 18th century, and some people are thinking more like 21st century. So just putting everybody together mentally, and in this education gap between these communities.
Well, this is one of the things that Steve and I have been doing. Right from the beginning, almost 50 years ago, when I arrived in this country, has been to engage the community to create peace and harmony. We must have this engagement with all different groups. And when we see things happening in the Middle East or other countries, we don't want those things here.
Yeah, recently in South Asia, big change.
It is, and exactly, and that's what we don't want those things to happen here. So that's why I'm always out there trying to get these people together and celebrate their cultures and traditions here, without making other people unhappy, upset, or anything. So slowly, for example, I take pride in the fact when I started as an MP in Parliament, for the first time ever, I started celebrating Diwali Day in the Parliament. And then I started with Eid when Eid came. And then and that's never been taught, And I used to joke with at the time, Prime Minister Helen Clark. I said, why did you guys not do it? And she said, I needed somebody like you to come and do it. And now that has become a key part of parliamentary celebrations, Diwali and Eid and Iftari, for example. I started those things, and some of these things now become national level because previously nobody thought about those things. And once we got started, and then all the other politicians realized, and of course, as you know, came in the 9/11 and other situations. And that also sort of pushed people, well, look, we need to talk to each other, let's understand each other. Let's celebrate our cultures and tradition. And of course, the governments here, particularly, I must say, I must put a picture there for Labour government, they have been very good, honestly, to get these things. And we organize at a regional level with Southeast Asia, some of the interfaith dialogue and all these things were started. And now they're happening in the communities because that's the only way is to talk to other people, understand each other. And particularly in a country like New Zealand, we all migrants, over time, the last 200 years, people have come around from all over the place. And here, we got to live together, equal. And that's best way is to talk to each other.
All right.
place.
Is there anything else you want to add or you want to tell the viewers?
Well, look, I think these are what I can say is despite the difficult times in terms of COVID, corona all around the world and some things happening in South Asia and Middle East, I think there's still a lot of goodwill around the world, and people should be engaging with others, and we should be traveling and visiting. A place like New Zealand is a lovely place, I must say. You've been here, and I spent my nearly 50 years here, and I love this place. And I recommend everybody to come and visit New Zealand once in a lifetime.
It's a great country. And like I told you before, anybody I've been discussing, anybody we've been talking, even last night I had some few friends together from all different nationalities, and they all just think, oh wow, New Zealand, Australia, nice places to go, nice places to be. And I think so definitely I think there are a lot of viewers who are actually wondering what's going on in New Zealand and how, hopefully once this lockdown situation will change, they're all gonna go and visit. And I'll be the one of those also. Matter of fact, I'm still checking flights.
Yeah, it's difficult at the moment. The problem is not so much flight, but it's quarantine facilities and all that. And so that's a bit difficulty at the moment. But hopefully by the end of the year, things will open up.
So thank you for joining us today. We had a great discussion, and we will come back with the focus point again with another amazing discussion. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us today.